Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another Subpixel stream. Will, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great.
That's fantastic. We have quite a doozy today. Just kidding. It's more Gunpla. Hooray! Well, why don't you
Yay.
tell us what you are working on?
I am finishing a kit I started like last year, I think. And this is the kit I really first got into panel lining with. So here's this little guy. Um, and he's cool. I like this guy. The main reason I bought this guy is
Mhm.
he's available in high grade and master grade, and I wanted to buy both and then compare them. So yeah, that's basically what I'm working on. He's a cool little dude. I also think he looks I don't know if he there's like the schism of Gundam that some look like fantastical and then some look like gritty, alien, grungy sort of like they were designed by
Yeah,
a person who designs a toaster. And
yeah.
I kind of lean towards those a little bit more.
Different designers.
Yeah.
I think it would be better to just ignore that because the fan base can get real stupid. But at the same time, if you have never seen Tequila Gundam,
Tequila. No, I'm
Tequila
not saying the other
Gundam.
ones are bad. I like the grungy.
Oh no, I just mean like the problem is I tried to look it up a little bit. Some of the different designers, especially like the Verka stuff, which is basically there's a
I
designer who
see.
likes to redo stuff and add detail, and he's so well known that when you can buy a kit that says Verka, like version KA, and it's basically this designer has redesigned it. Um, and they're
Oh.
pretty popular and they tend to be pretty expensive. But there's people who love that. There's people who hate that. There's other people can get really snippy about designs. But anyways,
I have that other model, which I was thinking of doing today, which is the industrial design version of the original guy that I need to try out. They like hired designers to think of a new way of putting Gundam together. It has like a little art book with it and everything.
I'm curious about that. Let me know what that is.
Yeah, it's been sitting over there. I was gonna do it today, but then I remembered I had to finish this one. So,
Hi, Baron.
hi, Baron.
Um, Let me know, Baron, how it is for you. Will, how's it for you? I'm gonna turn it down just a smidge.
I
Good.
can't hear music if you're giving me music.
Are you sure you can't hear music?
Unless, well, there's this vent going right now, so now I hear. Is it like a?
It's
I
music.
heard something for a second. Didn't really sound like music though. It sounded like a clapping.
Can you hear that?
I heard something for a second.
Okay, I don't want to say it's your side, but Discord says that I am talking when the music is playing.
Every time you talk, I can hear the music, which is funny.
Oh, you know what? How about that?
Now I can hear music.
Yeah, noise suppression. Too good.
Nailed it.
Okay, yeah, music. I know, Baron, you can hear it. Let me know how the volume is now, Baron. Will, how's the volume on your side? I don't care.
It's goody. I knew it wasn't my fault.
It was just no. It was weird though because Discord I was green, so I was like, "What's going on?" Anyways,
I guess that music, not that it's Discord's fault, but that music kind of sounds like a washing machine hitting. So I feel like it's
I probably just thought it was, yeah.
thought it was background noise.
Anyways, I'm still working on the Mark II. I believe it's version 2.0 master grade. Last time I did the right leg. Well, last time I started already done with the right foot, and then I moved on to the right leg, and I finished the right leg during this stream. This time, I swear I have made progress. I'm starting with the left foot, which I've already made.
Ooh.
And I'm now gonna hopefully finish the left leg, and then all I have is the hip. So let me get started on that. So something that I want your opinion on, William Yosef, it's crispers,
Yes.
is one thing this kit did that I really appreciated was they had you build the weapons. Like you did the torso and the arms, and then you built the weapons, and then you went back to the body. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's weird. Usually the weapons are last.
Yeah.
I like them last because then I can just put them on.
I was thinking the opposite, which is I feel like, how do I put this? On the wrong page. Sorry. I feel like I typically hate the weapons, not because of the weapons fault, but because I'm done with the body and all I want to do is play with the body. But then I'm like, oh, I'm not done with the kit yet. I got to do the weapons, you know? And so because they did the weapons in the middle, it didn't feel like a chore. It didn't feel like it was an extra add-on. So
That's true.
I think I prefer that now, honestly.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, give it to me.
I was gonna ask you you've been using that marker for panel lining, right? The
I
Gundam
use the Gundam marker. I use the Gundam pore type, and then I also use to me a panel liner, depending on the
so
situation.
I have the pore type, which is the only thing I've been using.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, I feel like my lines don't come out very dark. I feel like by the time I go to erase, it erases too much.
Well, then don't erase too much. It sounds like a common sense answer, but the other thing is also you may have to go back and do it twice. So the first time
I was just
you do
wondering
it,
if you were doing it twice.
yeah, you got to be careful too which direction you're erasing, because certain directions, depending on the crevice, will erase too much. So you do something you just got to get used to.
I was just curious.
I hear you, Baron. I've got a new camera. I think it's the phone. Let me check it real quick.
Stupid camera. I also don't know what it is, but these runners in this kit fit in your 3D printed thing way better than the runners in the other kit.
Did you make sure you were on the right notch?
Yeah, because the other ones, I remember I messed around with them a bunch after the stream to like get them all set up, and these ones like clicked in immediately. But I wonder if those ones were like an older kit or something. I don't even know. Like that wouldn't make sense. Okay, I've been sitting here for like 20 minutes trying to figure this out.
All right, Baron. Let me know if that looks better.
2122.
It's probably a little. It looks a little jank on my side. I don't know how it is in the stream. I mean, you have a pair of calipers. I mean, if you have a pair of calipers, you can check the size of the runners, but...
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they're long since gone and thrown away, but I just remember having like, these just went in right away versus the other ones, I feel like took me like 5 minutes.
Well, I think it's either a 0.2 or 0.5 millimeter difference between the different ones.
Yeah.
So there are some that you could probably fit it in multiple. Yeah, I noticed the lag as well. I think I'm just gonna have to live with it, Baron. Still haven't quite figured out. Problem is, I like using the webcam for the face cam. And I'm trying to use my phone. And the resolution's great. I don't know why it's lagging though. Oh well.
Yeah, I've noticed I like using my phone over here for that. It's like, because it grabs it in 4K and everything. Looks good. Although I don't think I'm sending it in 4K.
Oh, it gives you 4K? Because OBS Ninja only goes up to 1080.
No. I mean, like, I'm sending a virtual cam 4K.
But I mean, what is it?
OBS Ninja,
what is it grabbing?
Which is
your
1920
phone?
by 1080. It's grabbing 4K off my phone.
See, that's nice.
Yeah.
How much is
that?
that?
I bought that app was $15. I bought it for.
It's not bad. I may end up just.
It's a little steep, but it's just easier. Plus, I thought if like I ever end up having not that I would have an extra iPhone, but iPhones are great cameras.
They are. Honestly, that is the single thing that makes me want to possibly go back to an iPhone. And it's not that it's not the camera. It's not the camera.
Right.
It's the software. They do like the right touch of automatic touch up where it doesn't look like automatic touch up.
Yeah. It's like I believe most of Adam Savage's videos during the pandemic he shot with 2 iPhones.
Yeah.
And like it looks great.
Every time I look at like the OnePlus 9, I believe, just got announced and came out, and people were like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I looked at like the image comparison. They're like, it's like the best Android camera. And they have like, this is a Samsung, this is the OnePlus, and then this is an iPhone. And it's like the same shot, and they take it with each of them. And the iPhone just always looks better. Just automatically. And I remember the first time I really, really noticed it was when we went to Iceland. And both of us shot stuff from the plane when it was landing, and yours just looked so much better than mine. And it was like the exact same shot. And I was like,
I didn't even think about that.
just like the color and the shadows and the contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Android cameras, they need to steal the Apple software.
The applesauce.
Yeah, applesauce.
Yeah, I keep forgetting now that I have that app at the studio, I can just use my iPhone as a camera.
Do you need to though?
No, but if I needed like a third camera, just pop it up.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you could always do that with OBS Ninja.
Yeah. Okay. Shoulder pad.
Hey Baron, how's it going?
Me?
How's your Saturday?
Oh man, can I talk about my
did not
Saturday
ask
for a
you.
second?
I'm
know you
waiting
didn't
for
ask me.
Baron to answer.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, tell me what stupid shit you did today.
So, this is separate from why we've been talking about this, but it's funny because you brought this up for something that we're doing next weekend. But Karen and I, so down the street from where we live now, is a huge. It's not really a park. It's more of the high schools, or there's some school there, but it's open to public. So there's 2 baseball fields, a couple tennis courts, basketball courts, a playground, all that sort of stuff. So we, this morning, woke up and went and played tennis. And by playing tennis, I mean we hit a ball back and forth a maximum of like 2 times in consecutive hits. Because, boy, on full-size courts, it's hard to be accurate with a tennis ball and a racket when you're someone built like me.
Oh, were you like trying to like be in bounds? Because Maggie and I, a couple years ago, we tried to do that. I think Maggie just doesn't like tennis, but we did it a couple times, and we almost never played. We were just volleying. So it was like, who cares if it's out? Let's just try and keep it towards the other person, you know?
That's what we were doing, was volleying, but it's also like I have not swung a tennis racket in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And Karen's just naturally good at things. So we're just smacking it back and forth. But boy, I got sweaty real fast.
Yeah, next weekend, man, it's gonna be. So I'll let Baron in, or anybody else who's watching. So next weekend we're shooting an episode of Pixel 8. It's gonna be called Sports! The original plan was to take Will to a baseball game, but it's.
Ooh.
We still need to do that, but the problem is it's not really lining up in terms of tickets and people being timing of the games, and also people who are in home games, even minor leagues, for when they're going to be here. So instead, we're going to be playing Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Mario Baseball, and Mario Strikers. Strikers is the soccer. Sorry, I'm just going to name the sports. We're going to play a Mario soccer game, a Mario golf game, a Mario tennis game, and a Mario baseball game. And then we're going to go out into the real world, and we're going to kick around a soccer ball. We're going to play some wiffle ball. I thought about going to a batting cage, but I'm not crazy about that, to be honest with you. I think wiffle ball is going to be better. What do you think?
Yeah. I think all my baseball stuff's at my parents' house. That's the other thing. They have, like, on one of the baseball places here, it's not I guess it's technically a batting cage, but there's no, like, machine or anything. But it's just a closed-in cage for hitting.
Oh, yeah.
Hitting
Oh,
balls
I
in.
forget, because you live in a trash place, so.
I don't live in a trash place.
Look, I just want to say something. This is not to denigrate you. This is instead to denigrate like people who defend Jersey. I forget every time I go to Jersey, they have like a rundown park next to a cemetery under the overpass, and it's just like, welcome to Jersey, I guess. Like, granted, that's only a small part of Jersey.
Now.
Yeah, it's only a small part of Jersey, but still, like, man.
No, this where I am is like a very quiet street.
That's great. Yeah.
And like, just walk down to the park.
Nice.
It's nice
So
not having constant people.
Yeah. So quick tech check in, Barrett. I tried to fix the camera. I'm not sure. I'm gonna favor resolution versus frame rate, so I can do shots like that. Just let me know what you think, because I think lower resolution, the frame rate's better. It's kind of weird. I'll have to fix it after stream.
I think Baron's too hungover.
I know. I saw that. 7 a.m. What board games were you playing? Also, what were you drinking? The other day, I decided to have a gin and tonic, and normally I have like 1 or 2 gin and tonics, and I was like, let me just make it a double. I started drinking it. Alcohol is a depressant. Also, it mixes with my like seasonal allergy medication to just make me super sleepy. And I just like barely stayed awake watching WandaVision, which is half the liquor's fault, half that stupid show's fault. So it's just kind of like from like 6:30 to like 9 o'clock that night, I was just laying in bed watching WandaVision, just like, like not drunk, just like real tired, or just like on my phone watching this stupid movie going, boy, this is bad. Yeah, WandaVision. Not a great show.
Great show.
You know, I will say, I don't think it's that show's fault. I think it's just like let's take a boring Marvel movie and make it into a series. You know, it is the Marvel formula. It does not do anything amazing outside of it. It does not do anything worse outside of it. It is just boring Marvel for an entire series. And I was like, not there for it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. If you're not there for it, I can see why it's not your cup of tea.
I think the big thing was, we talked about this, slight spoilers for WandaVision, but basically the first, even all the way up to like the first 3 or 4 episodes, where they're just so heavily invested in the fake TV show format, and then the later episodes where they're like going back in time and revealing information from various viewpoints, it's like, why couldn't you have just sprinkled that throughout the entire series from the beginning? And then it wouldn't have been a 25-minute episode in the 50s. It would have been 50s interspersed with like weird things at the agency, interspersed with this other weird witch lady from the 1600s. You know what I mean? Like, build the storyline simultaneously, and that way you're not throwing 25 minutes of retro throwback at your viewers at once. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was way more into what WandaVision was serving up before it aired, like the story of it. Like based on the comics and everything, that I mean, it's not exactly the same, but similar enough. But like Falcon and the Soldier, Winter Soldier, I'm not really interested in. I was just interested in like the mystery of WandaVision more than what anything else was.
See, I have a problem where I don't like Marvel movies, but I also like them just enough to watch them, and I also feel obligated to stay involved in the cultural discussion, so I keep forcing myself to watch them. When I think the number of Marvel movies that I have genuinely enjoyed and that I think are genuinely good movies is like, I can easily count on one hand, probably less than that. So I'm just like, you know, I'm in a weird spot.
I think, I'm more selective. Like, if I don't care about a Marvel movie, I don't, or anything, I don't engage with it.
Yeah, I think I have FOMO.
Like, I've only seen Thor Ragnarok. There's a couple other I haven't seen. So I really don't care. Which is weird for me, because I'm the type of person, if I was going to go play the 5th game in a series, I badly want to play all the ones before it. But with movies, it's not. I mean, with Marvel especially, it's not really as much of a thing. Okay, so who am I putting where?
Aaron said he played Color Splash, Take 6, and Scribble.io. Scribble.io, I'm assuming that's just like Pictionary. But I'm curious about what the other two are.
That's fun. Yeah, Thor 2 wasn't good. From what I heard. I still haven't seen it.
I think that's
Have
the
I
only one
seen
I have
Thor
not
1?
seen.
I don't know if I've seen Thor.
Thor 1 ends in a desert town in the middle of nowhere with like a giant metal robot, like several story metal
I
robot.
think I've just seen shots of it.
It's not good.
I don't think I've actually seen it. Although
Thor,
I'm a huge, what's his face? Peter Skarsgård fan.
yeah.
No,
Thor-
Stellan.
Thor 2 is the only one I haven't seen.
Ragnarok's great. That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
good.
got good. The Loki Thor dynamic in that movie is good. See, that's like the Loki trailer for the show. That's an interesting enough concept for me to tune into it. You know?
I haven't even watched the trailer. What's the premise?
It's like something about it's almost like a Suicide Squad sort of clause. It feels
Okay,
like
I'm out.
like
No,
like
it's not.
Loki.
Yeah.
I don't know who the organization is. It's the organization that
Shield?
keeps no. It's like the
Sword?
No. It is the organization that keeps track of time and makes sure time flows properly. And Loki has been arrested because he's messed up with time too much. And so they like have him as when I say the Suicide Squad thing is he's a prisoner, and if he tries to escape, they'll blow the thing in his head if that's a real thing. But he's doing missions to repair the timeline with them.
Adjustment Bureau. Got it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So I think that's I like, again, that's more like bureaucracy where you wouldn't think bureaucracy is.
Yeah, I mean that does sound a little
cool.
bit more interesting. It's just as soon as you said Suicide Squad, my gut reaction was like, we've done that multiple times now. Can we have some unique ideas here? But maybe they'll do it well.
I just meant in the fact of like criminals being anti-heroes.
I just find it so funny how there's like this big DC versus Marvel fan base fight, but they're just mirror images of each other in so many ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Flash and Quicksilver, it's like it's the same person. Same exact superhero. I don't care if their backstory is slightly different. It's the same conceit.
Oh yeah. Like Batman and Iron Man are essentially the same superhero.
Oh, that's a good point. I never even thought about it that way.
They're at least different enough where one's
Yeah.
more tech focused and one's like, I think that's the thing Batman has is he's a detective more than anything else.
Yeah.
That I kind of like. I don't like when they deviate from that.
Whereas Iron Man, he's just an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Did you like Iron Man 3? I didn't like it.
That's the one with the kid, right?
With the kid, and he's all like PTSD, but he's like, I have PTSD in like 2 scenes, but then the rest of the movie he's a normal Iron Man, and so it's like, commit to it or not. It was like demon in a bottle, but instead of alcoholism, it was PTSD.
I think I only like one of the Iron Man.
One's good.
I only like one movie one of the Iron Man.
I don't
like 2 that much, except for the F1 thing and of course Elon Musk. And then
2, man, I feel like every time I watch 2, it's one of my favorite Marvel movies. There's something about it that just flows and is really well put together.
I think the off the cuff nature of 1 is very entertaining.
Yes.
Like you can criticize it for not being that coherent because it's shot that way, or filmed that way, but I find it very enjoyable that they were able to stitch that whole thing together. Also, him saying Tony was able to do it in a cave with a box of scraps is a great line.
I just remember
he says to the kid from A Christmas Story.
I just remember in 1, I need to go back and rewatch it, but I just remember in 1 that the villain feels like the villain just comes out of nowhere at the end, and that was like my main complaint about it, but the rest of it I liked.
Yeah. I thought the bad guy in 2 was kind of weird.
I kind of liked him. I think number 1, I like Mickey Rourke. I think he's a great actor. And then I think, did you say Rourke? What'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh.
I said true.
Oh, I thought I said Mickey Rourke and you said Rourke. And I was what?
No, it's pronounced
sorry.
Rourke.
It's Rooney, Mickey Rooney.
Oh, Mickey Rooney would be a great. Marvel villain.
Well, which normal Mickey Rooney or racist Mickey Rooney?
I mean, racist would be the villain, but then he becomes unracist
No, that's Ben
at the
Kingsley.
end.
I just really liked that his whole conceit was like, Tony Stark's not a hero. He stole technology from my dad, and now he's profiting off of it and acting like a hero. And my dad like just ended up in ruins, and I'm gonna take that back. And it was like a smart villain as well, who was like basically able to Iron Man his own thing.
Yeah.
And I like that they didn't really dive into it, I think, enough, but it was at least good to have that theme of like, the audience needs to buy into like, oh, Tony Stark is this bigger than life guy. He's so cool and he's so flashy and he's so smart. And I like that the villain was just like, no, you're not. And I have proof of it. I can do what you do. You stole my father's tech and now I'm taking revenge, you know?
I like, is that the one with, that one has, what's his name? Sam.
Yes.
He's in that because he's the other company.
Yeah.
I love the, like, when they do the montage of the trials, it's like the guy's in the suit and it just spins him 360 and breaks his spine.
Yeah.
He's just like, no, that guy's okay. He's okay. Full medical coverage.
Yeah.
It's like so bad.
Two's real good.
Oh yeah, 3 is Guy Pearce with all the different
Yeah, and
Iron
Ben
Man
Kingsley
that's,
as Mandarin or whatever his name is.
as someone who had a slew, I think I have 10 original Iron Man comics in a row, like happened at like that I grew up with, that had like the unicorn in it and the Mandarin and all this sort of stuff with his rings and everything. And I get how it's mildly racist these days, but I was very mad that they didn't actually have like a Mandarin villain.
Yeah.
I mean, in the comics, he's drawn very poorly, I will say.
I mean, it's racist now, but back then.
It was great. Freedom of speech. No. I also have near and dear to my heart is the unicorn, who is just a guy with a helmet that shoots lasers out of it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's dope. I have a lot of mishmash. I have the Flying Nun #1. If anyone wants to buy that off me.
Baron says Nerdstalgic made a really good YouTube episode about the DC universe in comparison to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's definitely a cinematic difference. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Something that I started thinking of while I was drunkenly watching WandaVision, and that took up a lot more of my attention than that stupid show, was they brought Quicksilver in, right? And it's played by, I think it's Peter Evans or Chris Evans or whatever, who plays Quicksilver in the X-Men series.
Yeah.
Which is now owned by Disney. So I was just thinking, how, if you're in Marvel and you sit down at your desk and Kevin Feige comes up to you and he says, hey baby boy, I've got a special project for you. And he leans down, he whispers in your ears and he goes, figure out how we merge the X-Men cinematic universe and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How would you do that? Because I don't think you can just do it like Shaolin or any of the other movies where it's just like, oh, by the way, there's also this superhero in the world and this is him figuring that out and then joining the team. Because X-Men is such like a, not that you need to bring all the cinematic backstory in, like Apocalypse and all that stuff, but X-Men is very societal. You know, that's not something that would have gone under the radar in all the MCU movies. So how would you do that? How much can you bring over and how would you do it?
Yeah. And as far as, I mean, I guess I haven't looked into this, but the reason he's in WandaVision is more of a joke sort of thing, not.
It is, but
not
again,
serious.
Bad show and him being there made it entertaining for the thoughts I was having and not because he was there for a legitimate reason. Yeah. But I just mean like, I don't know how I would do it.
I don't know. I feel like X-Men is, I don't know anything about X-Men at all, but I feel like it's weirdly integrated in regular Marvel as well. Like you said, the societal thing where like mutants, like how integrated in the actual comic universe are they? Because I feel like they were sort of separate because of they're technically mutants versus not superheroes. Like it's not in the X-Men world. Everyone's like, yay, Yay, not Quicksilver, but yay,
Are they in the same
Thor.
world
That's what
in
I'm
the
wondering.
comics? Yeah.
I can't remember if they interact in the same world or they only ever interact in like Secret Wars type stuff.
I have an idea though. You ready? You do X-Men. So the whole thing about X-Men is that all of a sudden, I don't want to say all of a sudden, but like it becomes public knowledge and there's government hearings about there are mutants out there. Are they the next phase of evolution? And in X-Men, it's like that happened in the 60s or whatever, those hearings, the 70s or 80s. Why not just do it in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now?
Today. Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like the whole first movie is about these people realizing that they're superheroes, but they're not normal superheroes. And then it becomes like maybe the end of the first movie is it becomes this big thing and they're like, you're not normal. You know, if you look at everybody else, like Iron Man has money and intelligence, right? You know, Fantastic Four, cosmic radiation, whatever. Like you bring in X-Men as like this whole new source of superheroes that is uncontrolled. And it's just like, this is going to shake things up. We're about to get a lot more superheroes and we can't even tell who they are or if they're good or not.
And the other thing with X-Men is, as far as I understand, is it's a thing that can happen to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Being born.
Yeah. It's like there are kids everywhere and it's a random shot. So I think that would be interesting. I basically have the first X-Men MCU movie is like, I don't know if it's Wolverine, but maybe you have like some old people who think they're superheroes, but really they're mutants, and they start finding, then you have some kids who are like, their powers start going off and they're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. And then there's just like some sort of like gathering where it's not that they're making a team, but there's like several mutants, like the old mutants and the new mutants coming together, and they're like, what's going on? I don't know what the big bad guy is, but at the end of it, the Avengers, they're like, we'll help you out, but there's something weird going on here, you know? Yeah. I don't know. I think that's how you do it. But then again, the MCU, there's so many superheroes in the MCU, right? And there's so many villains. Like, what was his name? Vulture? From Spider-Man? Yeah. It's Vulture, like, that guy just came out of nowhere, and he just has tech to make him basically a villain, right? A supervillain. So how are mutants interesting? Who cares that you have a random genetic thing that makes you a superhero when there's all these villains that basically have the same level of powers? So it's like mutants, the only thing that makes it interesting is that it's at random.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in the X-Men that much, so kind of don't care.
Yeah, I'm like with everything else. It's like I like the cool heroes and I don't like the lame ones.
Yeah, I think it's just because I don't know anything about them, so it kind of works out.
What's your favorite Marvel movie? Well, no, sorry. You can still answer that, but my real question was, what do you think is the best Marvel movie?
Okay, favorite I think is either might be Ragnarok.
It's good.
But it might Endgame 2 is pretty good. I've only ever seen it once though, so I would hesitate to say it's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is also very good.
Yeah.
The best Marvel movie I think might be what's the Robert Redford? It's not Civil War.
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. That one is very good.
It's pretty good until it just evolves into normal fight scenes at the end.
Yeah, still great.
Still pretty good.
I love fight scenes.
I'm not a big fan of the Marvel fight scenes, especially once they handed it over to the Russo brothers and they just do all of it now. I don't think they're bad. I just find them a little bit dull.
Yeah, I don't. Marvel movies for me, are just enjoyable. Like Not that I'm not saying you're overthinking them, because you're not, but I don't think about them that way, so it's hard for me to like start to think about them that way.
I definitely overthink them. Vin's hobby spot. Vin's hobby spot. Reminds me of
Vinny Carabella's hobby spot.
Andy's hobby headquarters, which I watch a lot of their YouTube stuff. How's it going?
I hate Andy. Hobby who?
I'm a little upset. I didn't know he was there. I've been to Phoenix twice on business trips. I should have. Really should have.
What is happening here? How does this work? This doesn't even click on, you stupid thing.
For my favorite, man, a lot of them I haven't seen in a long time, but I really enjoyed Iron Man 2. I don't know what my favorite is. I think the best. This is going to sound like an obvious answer because everybody's going to pick it, but I think I have different reasons for it. I think the best is Endgame. And the reason why is that feels like one of, I almost want to say the only Marvel movie where there are consequences. In terms of like, I keep thinking about Transformers. I hate the Transformers movies. They're not good. And yet I just have this stupid deal with myself that I go see every single one of them in the theaters. That's
a bad idea.
It's not even a guilty pleasure because I don't enjoy it. It's just like masochistic in some weird way. But I remember Transformers 3. So Transformers 2 ends with the big fight in Chicago, like Chicago downtown, and there's like a lot of destruction going on. Not unique for a movie. A lot of movies do that nowadays. So what?
Is that the Leonard Nimoy one?
No, you think about Star Trek, you idiot.
No, Leonard Nimoy is in.
Is he in one of them?
Isn't
he in all of them?
Allspark guy. He's the ancient guy, whatever his name is.
I've seen the movies. I don't care. Here's the point. End of 2, Chicago.
Stupid Star Trek line.
End of 2, Chicago gets like decimated, right? Transformers 2. Transformers 3 opens with Mark Wahlberg, and and the world has changed. Like there are literally billboards that are just like, if you see something, say something. Remember Chicago. And there's like police force and paramilitary forces now specifically for the purpose of like tracking down all Transformers and Decepticons. And like in the first like 10-15 minutes of that movie, you're just like, oh. The world was changed because of what happened at the end of Transformers 2, right? Not just in story elements, but like it's like post 9/11, like the feel of the world has changed. I want to say that is almost not in any Marvel movie. Despite all the things that are happening, despite them trying to do it, like in the Defenders mini television series, they try to do it a little bit where they're like, well, New York got destroyed, so we gotta help our neighborhood. Or like Robert Downey Jr. pretending to have PTSD, but it doesn't come off that well. Whereas like Endgame, the first half of it is just like, hey, not so much that you guys messed up and failed, but like things have drastically changed. And you gotta deal with it now, you know?
I hate to ruin your day, but
yeah,
that's the 4th Transformers movie.
What happens in the 3rd one?
The 3rd one is Dark Side of the Moon, which opens with the Apollo thing that I think is really cool.
That was cool.
And that Leonard Nimoy plays Sentinel Prime, who says the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many.
Have there been?
I always thought that was the stupidest thing.
So there's been 5 Transformers movies?
There have been 6 Transformers movies.
Oh my god.
Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, Transformers Dark of the Moon, sorry, not Dark Side of the Moon. Is it Dark of the Moon?
God, I need to stop. Wait, is Bumblebee on that list?
Extinction, Dark of the Moon, Extinction, Age of Extinction, then The Last Knight, and then Bumblebee.
Man, I don't really count Bumblebee just because it's not in the core. But
yeah, I've never seen it. So I've only seen 1, 2, and 3. I've never seen Age of Extinction or The Last Knight. Even though The Last Knight, from what I've heard of the like the setup for it sounded interesting to me because I think ancient Transformers sounds cool.
It's bad. Let me help you out.
I'm not saying the movie's good. I said the thought of that is cool.
Oh yeah. But I've not seen Bumblebee. I've heard it's good. All the others just don't watch them. They're not even worth watching. They're just ugh. But yeah, so that's what I really liked about Endgame was that like all these Marvel movies, there are crazy things happening. Like like Iron Man 1 has a little bit of it at the end in the press conference, where it's just like crazy things are happening on this world and cities are being destroyed, entire countries are being lifted into the air. And they do a little bit of recognition of that with like Civil War being like, oh, we have to deal with superheroes, but it's not super well done. It just feels like the same world constantly. Like there's no change. There's no recognition of major events that have happened. There's no real response to it. And that's what I teared up at the beginning of Endgame just because of like that Hawkeye scene. It was just like, this is consequences, you know? Like even when the Avengers win at the beginning of the first Avengers movie, there should have been drastic changes from that point on, because like the center of Manhattan was like destroyed by an invading alien army. And instead it's just like, okay, let's do another generic movie of here's a hero. Are they going to succeed? Oh, okay.
That is the thing I like about Civil War and like the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff's not necessarily the movies, but also the comics. That stuff's super interesting. Like, hey,
yes,
we can't just have people be doing this.
Should I?
Like, I think that's cool.
Should I read the comics? Does that comic series? Because I felt like the movie moved way too quickly for me to really appreciate what was going on.
I have the trade paperback. I haven't read it in a long time, but you're welcome to borrow it.
Oh yeah, can you bring that next weekend, baby boy?
Yeah.
Because like I read Infinity War, and if I remember correctly, Infinity War is like 4 or 5 issues, but the one that I read was actually pretty cool. There was like this Infinity War emblem on the front of all comics at the time, where like if it was like Silver Surfer number 27 and it contained any information related to the Infinity War series, it would have a stamp on the front of it saying like ties in with Infinity War or whatever, or Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh yeah.
And so I ended up reading like 60 comics. Like some of them were just barely related, but some of them like gave me so much backstory on Thanos. And then going into just reading like the 4 or 5 main Infinity Gauntlet issues just made it so much better. And so I feel like I do appreciate really well done comic series. And then you watch it in the movies, and I'm not saying Infinity War, Endgame were bad. It's just, there's just so much more depth. Yeah. Like I'll give you an example. So Thanos has to go around and collect these stones, right? So in the comics, Silver Surfer is trying to stop him, and Thanos needs more time. So I forget how he does it, but he basically gets Silver Surfer to visit this planet of bureaucracy. And he lands on this planet, and the planet's like, they have the power to take away his powers. And I forget how it happens, but they're just like, do you have a visa? And he goes, no, I don't have a visa. And where's your passport? And he goes, I don't have a passport. And they're like, okay, well, we can't really let you in. And then he's like, well, okay, I'm gonna go now. And they're like, well, you have to pay for the oxygen that you used. And he ends up for like 2 issues in this bureaucracy where it's just Silver Surfer, like, if I remember correctly, like working mundane jobs to get this money to pay for his exit visa from this bureaucratic galactic empire.
Hi, Karen.
And I loved it.
Sorry, she wanted to come in. Yeah, that sounds super. That's like the absurdity of that in not to deviate in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, same thing.
Is so funny to me. That movie too was
good.
Like the way Martin Freeman is just like fed up with it, trying to fill out the stuff. That movie's great.
Should rewatch that. Great movie. But yeah, I just mean, so bring that paper back. I'd love to read it.
What'd you say? Karen? Oh yeah, Karen's making me a sandwich, not asked for, and she's.
Is she braless?
She's braless too.
Did you just get a double player kill in your lane?
Yeah, I just got
a
double player kill, and my mistress is under the desk.
Stupid Ninja, man. Look, Ninja. I had
no opinion on Ninja until that came out, and I said, I hate this man.
I hate this man. Some of the other things he said, I was like, maybe it's out of context. Maybe he's just chasing money, but that is one of the stupidest. I hate that man. Oh, God.
Also, if I was his wife, I would slap him in the face.
Also, his streams aren't that good. I've watched one of his streams for like 5 minutes. It's not that well produced. The content's not that great. It's just him, like, being good at a game, but not entertaining.
People I'm braless.
It's just
also... Nobody just makes you a sandwich.
Yeah, that's
What if she brought you that sandwich and you said, "Sorry, babe, I just ate"? It's not how it works, people. I hate it so much. It made me so angry.
Guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, look up the ninja tweet. Just type ninja sandwich tweet. It's hilarious.
I think my favorite was Imran Khan. Is that his name?
I think so.
Retweeted it and just quote tweeted it and just wrote "not asked for" in quotation or in parentheses.
Oh, that's right.
That's very good.
Yeah. I mean, if I ask for it and she brings it, that's expected, but.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
Oh,
Karen
boy.
just showed me her slabs of beef that we're gonna have for dinner.
Oh, what's being made?
It's steak. Man, she last weekend that's that camera right there. She
Wow.
She last weekend she sous vide a chuck roast for 24 hours.
Ooh.
Oh, it was so good.
I haven't done that yet because I have a really good chuck roast recipe from my grandma that is incredible in the crock pot.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, so I haven't had to sous vide it.
Yeah, it was really, really good. It had really good marbling too, so it was just like bam.
That's the good stuff right there.
Okay, what am I doing? I gotta put this hand. C150.
Oh,
With
did
the
you?
Gundam, the drip marker, do you ever get it where you accidentally catch it on something and it just sprays everywhere?
No. I do typically have a paper towel handy in case I need to you have to hard press it to get it to refill the nib.
Yeah.
So I just do
always
that into
get,
a paper towel.
Like you can sort of see here, like I caught it there and it just sprayed all over it.
Oh yeah.
It's super annoying. I feel like I have to press a lot. Like that's most of my racing is getting rid of the press points.
Oh well, you shouldn't have to press with it.
Or I'm touching it.
Oh, the touch.
But it makes
yeah.
a little circle.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of getting used to how to do that without a whole lot of marks being made, you know.
Am I not getting 14? I'm getting 15. Stupid. Really.
There we go.
Oh, so I brought that N64, that Hyperkin GameCube and SNES N64 cable home to try to fix it because I was like, oh, it's super loose. I bet the plug's just falling off the motherboard or whatever. I can just solder it back on. So I opened it up, looked perfectly fine. It was the cable. The cable was bad. I just hooked up another cable to it, worked perfectly fine. I was so mad. But
The USB cable?
Yeah, the USB cable was the one that was bad. I double checked it and it was just bending inside of its little case thing. So
I was watching a video about there's a new box out, a new converter box called Retro Tink 5X.
Yeah.
And people are basically like, it's the OSSC, it's just easier to use and has slightly better features. It doesn't have VGA. And I was like, I think it's $300. I would never use it, and I have an OSSC, but I'm still tempted to buy it.
I put on. I think there was a waiting list. Email me when it's available. I was like, I mean, I have a Mister, and I still want to get it because I'm like, I can hook up everything through that.
Yeah.
Please. Okay, that's done. I'm gonna see.
Okay, got that going. I think I need to. Yeah, I'll be right back. I gotta get paper towel.
Paper towel. Oh.
Daddy's home.
Good.
Okay, let's see if I can do some.
We're back in the high life again. Man, if you haven't gotten it, Jeff Baclar shared a great Spotify playlist for. I think he said it's great for cookouts, and it is great. It is called Destroy 1965 to 1995, and it's just full of pretty good bangers. So if you're ever bored or you're grilling, use that one.
Oh, speaking of cookouts, man, I can't believe. Did you see the news yesterday about mask mandate? At least for Maryland. Maryland removed the mask mandate as of yesterday. They said it's up to businesses now. I mean, it's still in effect for hospitals, public transportation, schools.
Yeah.
And then immediately, like, Walmart, Costco, Trader Joe's were just like, all right, no more mandatory mask. We're just going to follow state. If you're not vaccinated, please wear a mask. Employees, it's up to employees to wear a mask. So we're slowly getting back to normal here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think here, Karen would know better, but I think it's no masks. I think it's only masks indoors or in public areas.
Yeah, we were like that for a week or two because of the CDC
Which
change.
I was saying this. Oh, and businesses. I was saying to George, who had COVID-19 and now tells me he probably doesn't need to get a vaccine because he has the antibodies.
That's not
To
true.
which I said, "You're an idiot." And he's like, "Yeah, but I don't want to take it before other people can get it." I said, "George, you can walk into a CVS and get it." He goes, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll see."
it's everywhere now. Yeah.
He like half jokes about like crazy theories about vaccines, and then he's like, "No, I'm just kidding." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah,
Anyways,
he's got one of those joke styles where he can play real straight face sometimes.
yeah, and I'm like, where was that going?
I don't know.
I was going somewhere. So I get my second dose on Wednesday, which will be nice. Oh, I had said, as far as masks, like that was my one thing that I thought was kind of annoying is nobody really addressed like, hey, if you want to wear a mask, you can continue.
Yeah.
There were a couple people saying like they wish it was normalized more, like it is in a lot of foreign countries. Because I was like, I feel like if I were to take the subway in the winter again, I'd probably wear a mask on the subway.
And I think it will be normalized because we basically had a year of mandatory mask usage, so I think it'll be normal for people too.
Yeah. I'm like, if I'm sick or something.
Yeah.
Bye, Baron. Get some good rest.
Love you.
So yeah. Oh, do you want me to bring board games?
Honestly, I mean, unless you have one in mind, I've got plenty that we can play. And I think we're really only gonna have time to play one or two. Probably like Sunday morning, maybe Saturday afternoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Karen was saying the one time she like went and visited her mom at the business, she wasn't wearing a mask, and neither was her mom. And then Karen got a cold. She's like, "Oh, I should just wear a mask when I go into, like, if someone has a cold or something." Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I would definitely, if I wasn't feeling well, I would wear a mask.
No, like if someone told me they had a cold and I was going to see them,
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, either A, stay away from me, or if I'm going to your house. I do wash my hands a lot more now, which I don't think is that bad.
Well, my hands are super dry now. I mean, they've always had some dryness issues, so I'm excited to stop washing my hands.
That actually started before coronavirus because I used to take the subway every day, and every time I got to work, I was like, I should probably wash my hands.
With your tongue.
The subway with my tongue. I wash the subway with my tongue, and then I wash my hands with my butt.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Definitely
just
getting
kidding.
better. Yeah, there was one or two board games that I was thinking about, but I can't remember what they were.
It's a good idea. Yeah, like, I mean, we could play Betrayal, although I'm not sure how great it would be with 3 people. Because Maggie's got to work all weekend.
Oh, yeah. Stupid Maggie. It's okay, I'll just bring in another person. Just pick them up.
We do have Dune, but that may be a heavy lift.
We could play Mario Party.
Oh, we could. I don't feel like streaming anything. That'll be too much effort.
No, I don't want to stream anything either. We can have a private Mario Party. Hey, I meant to ask you this. Which game did you need me to look for at Digital Press?
Mario Golf for the
Mario
N64.
Golf. Okay, let me write it down because I'm going tomorrow for the N64.
Oh, hey, so just a heads up. I mean, hopefully this will show. Okay. Do you see what looks like hairline cracks between those two pieces? I mean, the two.
Let me look at stream so I can get a more clear image. Yes, I do see that.
So that's you got to be careful because the panel liner and the port type markers, they will do that. They make it slightly brittle. So you can't put on too much, and you can't put it on something that is like really snap fit together. You don't want to put it near the snap because it will crack it.
The other problem I get with the marker is it'll fill inside of an X-Acto cut.
Oh yeah. Well,
And
then
it's
just
hard
don't.
to get that out.
I don't mean
Like
to shame you.
if you're near a point.
I don't mean to shame you, but why do you have X-Acto cuts on your pieces?
When you cut the nubs off.
No, you like whittle them off.
I know, but where the nub was, there's a little bit of.
Shouldn't be. Again, I don't mean to shame you, but if you do it right, there shouldn't
No.
be. We gotta cut this eraser now.
You're saying you have 100% zero mark where you had a nub?
It's not zero mark, but it is flat. So, let's see if I can find an example here. There. Okay, on the right side, you see there's a slight discoloration spot on the right side bottom.
Yeah.
That's where the nub was. So that is
Yeah, I'm saying
flat.
if you got pore type in there, it'll like go into the plastic a lot harder than it will on like a flat surface.
I don't think it will. Where was I?
The other thing I hate is sometimes when eraser shavings get stuck in a spot where they should not be.
Did you turn your mic down?
No, I was just not in
Oh,
front of
okay.
it. Did you
Yeah,
realize that?
I have a little paintbrush that I use sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I blow on it and
my
then I use a little
dad-
paintbrush.
For Christmas bought me all these acetate paintbrushes,
Nice.
like the one and done ones.
yeah.
So they're great. I use them mostly for gluing. Oh my sweet! I bought a little wood saw for model making that showed up yesterday. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, so I got plenty of word games. Trying to think of what other one. We could play photosynthesis. That's a good one.
I got Karen a board game for her. I got her 2 board games for her birthday. One was Codenames Duet, but I don't think we need to play Codenames. But the other one, King Domino, is that what I got?
Oh yeah, I have that. King Domino, Queen Domino. Those are pretty good.
Yeah,
It's kind of like,
Carcassonne.
yeah, a little bit, but definitely more complexity to it. Carcassonne, man, I can't get over the fact that you can get partial points. You know, like some of the stuff is partial points, and I feel like some of it should just be like, no, you only get points if you complete the whole thing.
Oh, I see. I like partial points. But then your effort is at least going towards something.
Yeah, I can see that.
So arm is done. Did I seriously not do the right hand? Oh, I did. I'm an idiot. Hope we don't get raided right at the end again.
And I've been working on the game show. Woo.
Yeah, going good.
It's gonna be good, yeah. I think I got the thumbnail done. I got the overlay done.
I'm
putting it
I
together.
made an overlay for Purple, and I hated it, so I gotta start.
Do you want me to take a looky-loo, give you some my opinion on it?
I was just like, I spent like an hour or two looking through Google Images and archives and stuff to try to find a good, because it's easier when I find something good to turn into
Oh, yeah.
a thing, but just it's one I came up with. Like, it looks okay, but I'm just like, the more I look at it, the more I don't like it.
I feel like, for me, the struggle is always placement of things. Like, the look, I can get close with some effort, but it's always the placement that drives me wild.
Yeah. I feel like the one I did looks too cartoony. Like, it looks like clip art almost.
You know, there are cockpits in Kerbal. Grab one of those. But they're pretty cartoony, though. I don't want to show you the game show because I kind of want it to be a surprise how much effort I've put into it. I will tell you, the way I'm running it is I basically have the entire game show as a PowerPoint presentation that's going to be running in OBS, and then cams on top. So it's going to be very dynamic, you know, like, here's the question, and then it shows up on screen, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going all out for it. But man, I still want a buzzer. Like, I was thinking about the one you showed me, and I could have that list displayed on screen where it shows, like, the order that people buzzed in. But I still really want, like, when you buzz in, the camera border around you lights up, you know?
Yeah.
So, because there's all these games I keep thinking of that would be better with a buzzer.
Yeah, I think that particular hurdle is the rough part on that. Did I ask for this sandwich?
Oh, wow.
Are you braless?
You did by talking about it.
I am braless. How'd you know? Okay, I'm gonna eat a sandwich now. Thank you, Karen.
Hey,
I love you.
Speaking of bad movies, Fast and the Furious movies.
No.
I don't like them.
I did not maybe 2. Yeah, they're in the backpack. Not Velastic, whatever the company is. Mount Olive. I've never seen a Fast and Furious movie.
I mean, honestly, I don't think you need to.
No, I don't think I need to either.
They just get, like, stupider and worse. And also, it's one of those things where, like, Fast and Furious, people who love Fast and Furious are like, oh, 3's the best one, and 2 is by far the worst one. It's awful. And I'm like, 2's the only good one. So it's like, not only do I not like their franchise, I also have, like, the complete opposite wrong opinion as everybody. So. Did I say opinion? I meant fact. I have the wrong fact.
I feel like I don't have room for more nonsense movies.
Yeah.
Like, I like all the Mission Impossible movies, and they're bad. Most of them are bad.
Whoa, okay, now hold up. Some of them are very, very good.
No, some of them are very, very good.
Okay.
But 2 is
accept
one
that.
of the worst movies ever made.
2 is weird. It is not a good Mission Impossible movie, and I think it's a good action movie, though. It's a very unique style, and you have to be there for it or not. And if you're not for it, then it's awful.
Yeah, I'm not for it. I will say, all of the Mission Impossible movies I think, are probably better than any of the Fast and Furious.
I don't know. Too Fast, Too Furious is... They know what they are, and they lean into it, and it ends up being great. But just going back to overlays, I was going to say, I feel like you know this very well. I am much, much better at looking at an existing overlay or video and pinpointing what's wrong with it and what needs to be better than I am at actually making it. You know what I mean? So, like, every time we share stuff back and forth, Like, my stuff is crap, but if I see somebody else's thing, I'm just like, oh, do this, this, and this, and it'll be much better. But then it also makes me seem kind of like an asshole, because I'm always like, yeah, it's good, but change these 12 things.
Ain't that true?
But yeah, just going back to Ninja, he has no production value. Whereas, look at this stream. This is a stream we threw together. Look at how good this looks. We got 4 cameras, we got 2 Gunplas, we got sandwich. My camera's laggy though. We'll figure that out.
I did send you that overlay if you want to look at it.
What's the background?
It's like a white, like the paneling from like a computer.
I like the buttons. I just think there should be 2 of them. And then I think more button types. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had originally done that. It just didn't look good.
Then the other thing
They were placed there.
The other thing I would do is in Vado, I noticed they have a whole bunch of TVs with the green screen on the TV. I would just grab those and have each of our cameras be a TV.
Yeah. I shouldn't want to sacrifice room. I was trying to make it look like one desk panel at like mission control.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that should be the aesthetic, but I was thinking, if possible, try to make them look like they are mini TV screens in the panel. So you would just cut out a TV, like a CRT monitor. And then that would be our camera. The other thing I can do is I can send you the OBS settings I did so that our cameras come through as CRT looking. What do you think? Remember when I showed you that effect one time?
Yeah. I probably won't because it's archive purposes, but
it turned out really good because every now and then it's like in my testing scene collection, so I go in there and I look at my webcam and it has like the slight tube distortion and a very light like scan lines, and it's so good. It's so good. We should definitely do that. It's really good. So yeah, I would say more buttons. I think the layout is fine, but then I would just change it to fake monitors.
yeah,
Fake.
I'll try to find something. It's just I don't want monitors with too big of borders.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I'd rather have the screen space than the borders.
Yeah.
That was the main issue I was running into.
And then for the game, I feel like we should have mission control at the top, like you have it. But then maybe the top, maybe like the top left is Subpixel team, whatever, and then the top right is like get to the moon and back, like it's the mission description. Oh, and then we need the timer, so maybe the timer just goes bottom right. So yeah.
There's a couple good flip counters on Envato.
Oh, can you use?
Stop clocks.
What you would just have to do as a play source.
Yeah.
Play media on top.
Either have a count up or count down.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yeah, I think you're on the right. I think you're right. It should definitely be a panel. And then the other thing on the background is I would do the background. I would try and grab an image of just a dirty panel where it's got smudges and like cigarette stains and make that the background instead of like a flat color.
Yeah,
But-
it is patterned. It's just hard to see.
What am I doing?
A little bit more.
H5. But yeah, you're on the right path. Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of banger streams coming up. By the way, Tuesday, do you want to just do Roblox again?
Yeah.
We could do Roblox or we could do Teardown. But I almost want to do Roblox because we would have 2 more episodes of Roblox and then it goes on hiatus for Pilots Month.
I think Roblox is good.
Yeah. Because that'll basically put us at 4 episodes before we switch over to Pilots.
The Anchor FM stuff's doing really good too.
You mean working or like people are watching?
Both.
Excuse me, what?
Both?
People are watching our content?
Uh-huh.
How many? What is it?
There's 7 plays on Thursday's episode.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm not exaggerating. That means there are 7 people who downloaded the podcast episode, and you and I are 2 of them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's, well, we need to talk about that for a little bit. I think the list is a great segment, but we spent like 45 minutes on it on Thursday. I think we gotta maybe we go back to 1.
That's what I was thinking.
I think each person pitches a game. Well, each person says a game, and then we decide from those 3 which one we're debating.
Thank you. Actually, I'll be right back.
I Oh. Took a sliver out of the plastic when I didn't mean to. It's okay. We're gonna be fine.
I do think the nice thing about doing it at the end though is if someone doesn't want to stay for it, they can just F off.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I think it's almost becoming its own show, but I don't want it to be its own show, so we gotta dial it back a bit. It's like Giant Beast Cast in the postcards, you know?
Yeah.
It got away from them, so we gotta get ahead of it.
But I do think when we hit 50 games, we should do a big round table.
Oh, that's the other thing I was thinking of. So I think the problem is if we have, like, let's say 6 people and we're trying to reorder the list, it's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I think we could get it to work by, like, hey, it's your turn, like, not having a huge cross discussion.
But I think it's interesting how the guests keep coming on and each of them views the list as, like, completely wrong order. And that's funny, but I think if you're going to actually try and reorder 50 plus games, it's going to be a nightmare. So I was thinking of a different one where we're trying to make the perfect objective 1 to 10 scale, right? So what if episode 50-ish or whatever, we then make a task of we have to pull out the perfect example of a 7 out of 10, the perfect example of a 6 out of 10. So we have to make a 1 to 10 list out of that. And the idea being not definitive ranking, but like the perfect example of a 5 out of 10 outer worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that would be easier than trying to reorder the entire list.
Yeah. I just think reordering the entire list would be fun and chaotic.
Oh, I agree. I just think we would have to heavily rule it in a funny way because, you know, like David, for example, him and I, we disagree a lot. Not in a bad way, but just in a way like we would never get to a list that either of us would accept, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think it would work though. Compromise.
Lots compromise and lots of weird rules, like funny rules.
Yeah.
Like each person has a one definite where you can say a number and you can say a game and it cannot be changed. But oh no, but how about what if you have to roll a dice? So each person one time gets to roll a dice and for that number name the game and then it can't change. We have weird rules like that.
Oh, you're crazy.
I kind of like that because otherwise I would just be like, I'm invoking the rule number 1 factorio, you know. But if I roll the die and it's 27, I'd go, I don't know, Battlefield 1943, you know.
Wow.
And then it sticks. Maybe
Podbean things like, why are you leaving? I said, went with competitor. Who's the competitor? And I keep being like, do you want to make an archive account? We'll archive the podcast.
I did see, very funnily enough, that you got charged for Podbean like 3 days ago.
Yes, I did see that too, and I was like, ugh.
I laughed as soon as I saw it.
Okay, Podbean's done.
Leg is coming along.
Hopefully it doesn't delete all the old ones. I'm kidding.
Hey, can you get on the mic? You keep just being way too low.
Am I not on the mic?
No, you're definitely not.
It's right here.
You're like negative 25.
Still?
No, that's a little better.
Okay.
G26. Oh, also, I don't know that it's episode 50, or maybe it's when we get to 100 on the list.
No, it's when we get to 50 games on the list.
Oh, but that's soon.
We're at 20 something.
I think we're at 27.
23. So we're at 23.
It may be 23.
But if we do one an episode, that's 23 more episodes.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, we're at 23 games.
Oh, so the other thing was just like reordering the list. The idea of like we're gonna re-argue everything on the list. I'm not a big fan of that, and the reason why I'm not a big fan of it is because we have 50 games on the list. It's not like we are saying these are the 50 best games of all time according to Subpixel, or the 50 worst. It's just 50 random games. So that's why it's why
It's the current 50 best and worst games of all time.
Yeah, but that's what I mean is it's weird, because it's like anybody looking at the list, they're looking at it as a ranking, but it's not like we're now going to sit down and rank the 50 greatest games of all time. It's like we're going to sit down and rank this random list of 50 games.
No,
you know
we're
what I
sitting
mean?
down and ranking the list of the best and worst games of all time.
But it's not the best and worst games of all time.
Currently it is.
No, it's not. Because the point is, we're not bringing to the table the best game. What we think is the best game, the worst game.
The conceit of the list is that you have to add things to the list.
No, the conceit of the list is that we're trying to get to a perfectly balanced rating system.
Right, but it also includes only the games rated on it are the best and worst games of all time.
No, that's the joke. But what I mean is, like, if I look at the list, like, it's missing Half-Life. Does that mean Half-Life is not one of the best games of all time? Because according to your definition, that's what it means.
Currently, yes, until someone adds it on the list.
No, that's the joke. But my point is, if we're going to sit down to rehash this list, it's adding importance to the list beyond the joke. And the problem is the list doesn't really have a definition. It's just random games.
You're right, but you're ordering the games on the list by what you think are the best and worst games.
No, but let me put it this way. So Giant Bomb has done this a couple times.
I understand what you're saying.
Giant Bomb has done it a couple times, right? They did like the worst song of the 80s, the worst song of the 90s. They did the ranking of fighters was more of a joke thing. When they do Giant Bomb Game of the Year, it is always, this is the top 10 out of all the games.
No, I understand.
Even the ones not on the list, it's the top 10. So my point is, it works right now because it's a joke. But if we try and spin it out as even just a single episode where it's people sitting down to argue it, I don't think the list has enough definition for that to work. Like, it's doable, but I don't think it works.
Yeah, I think it'll work.
I mean, it would still work, but I think it's taking the joke too seriously.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
No, that's not fine to take the joke too seriously.
To me, it's fine.
Honestly, I think we just go to 50 or whatever, and then we kill it. I'm worried the joke's going to be dead, especially by the time we...
I'm not going to keep it going forever, but I'll keep it going for a bit.
No, I agree, but I don't think we even take it to the single everybody sit down and committee argue it. I think the joke's going to be played out.
No, I understand what you're saying. It's something I would like to do, so I'm going to do it when we hit 50. Like, I mean, you don't have to participate if you don't want to, but...
Yeah, I think it only works if there's a lot of joke rules. And if there's a lot of joke rules, and with the current list definition, then it's just a continuation of the joke, at which point, why have the standalone re-rank everything if the joke is basically already played out at that point? And the committee sitting down and rehashing everything it's not anything new. Because by that point, we would have had like 25 plus hours of discussion if you assume 30 minutes per. I want to say 30 minutes per game. Well, we would have had we would have had like dozen plus hours of the joke at that point. So why just continue the joke in the exact same fashion? That's my point.
Totally.
I'm more curious about what we're going to replace it with, because I think we've got to have that type of thing. You know, what's season 2 of that podcast gimmick?
Yeah. I would like to do a couple episodes without something, but definitely.
Yeah, we could always have an interim period. I love the idea of bets, but Easy Allies does it so well, I don't want to steal it from them. Where you have teams, and each week you make a bet. Like next week Resident Evil comes out. How many letters are going to be in the first tweet from the Capcom account on launch day? You know, bets like that. But that's just copying Easy Allies format. And then hopefully we'll have the game show up and running. So that's already going to take care of the trivia / prize angle.
I mean, if it's chosen.
Oh, we could do pitches.
Oh, for the show. Sorry, I thought you meant like pilots. I'm like, aren't we already doing that?
No, as in like, you know, it's kind of like an improv sketch in a way. I don't think we go that far, but the idea is you have to come in with a unique video game pitch and pitch it to the other people, and they decide. Not in a jokey way, like, yeah, that's a cool idea, but in like, would you make it? Would you make it? Would you play it? But I think the problem with that is people are going to tend to try to be nice and just be like, yeah, cool idea, as opposed to being like, no, I wouldn't play that. You know what I mean? But I do like the idea of you, instead of you coming with a game to pitch on the list and you argue about that, you come in, maybe every episode, the panelists have to create a new game pitch from scratch. Like you draw a word at random and you have 5 minutes to collectively come up with a game based around that word.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Because we were doing that for Hub World. We were doing that. Because I remember we kept coming up, that one episode where we were like, let's come up with Battle Royale ideas. And we came up with like the Librarian Battle Royale, where you find books to give you words, and then the words give you more actions. So I think that's a good idea. Something with game pitches.
Over 30.
Ooh. Making slow progress. Oh, so I've been playing Outer Wilds.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
I'm almost done with it. I kind of gave in a way, and I'm now just looking up things that I need to... Either I didn't remember exactly how to do it or where it was, or I'm just like, I tried this once or twice, let me look up how to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is helping, because there are definitely some things where I was doing it right, I just wasn't doing it enough. You know, like small spoilers here, but like there's teleporter pads. I thought I had found some teleporter pads and I had stood on them for like 20 seconds and nothing happened. I was like, oh, I guess these are broken, or I have to find out a way to turn them on. And then I went and did a bunch of other stuff. And then I finally looked, I was like, hey, how do I get to this place? And they're like, oh, go stand on these teleporter pads here. And I was like, oh, I should have just stood there longer, you know?
Well, yeah, and you have to, like, yeah, I guess it's meant because you have to look at it is the problem.
Oh, you have to look at it?
I'm pretty sure you have to look at it.
Oh,
wait, maybe not.
I don't think you
just
do.
when they cross.
Yeah, I think it's just when they cross.
I think I just looked at it.
Yeah, I've been looking at it as well. just by habit. So there are things like that where I was doing it right. I just didn't attempt it enough times to do it successfully. You know, like I knew what I needed to do. I just didn't.
Are you reading everything?
No, I'm looking at it. I'm going, hey, I forgot. I need to get to the center of Giant's
No, I
Deep.
mean in game. Are you reading everything?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay.
But there's definitely there's some stuff that is not intuitive.
No, and there's some like with that game. There's some stuff that I found like it tells you how to do something after. Like I found it after I did the thing.
Yeah, some of the stuff is particular on you finding information that you may not have found because the game is not linear.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I looked it up. Well, I didn't look it up. I went to the game. I went to my ship. I looked at my rumor map. I have definitely visited Feldspar.
Yeah, that's weird.
And I don't know how. So I have two theories. One is maybe I did visit, what's it called? Bramblevine or whatever? Deep Bramble? Dark Bramble. Maybe I did visit Dark Bramble in one trip and I just happened to go past all the fish, which is difficult.
But that's like impossible.
Yeah. I don't want to say
you cannot fly past them.
Yes, you can. I did it once intentionally.
No, I mean in the sense like you can't just willy-nilly fly in there. Like you have to trajectory burst and float past.
No, you can. I did one run where I went in. I think I waited. I just floated for like 10, 15 seconds or something. And then I picked a direction and I boosted.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But
That's
what
how
I'm saying
you
is
go in there.
I could see myself doing that. Like if I went through and I'm like, where am I? Let me float here for a bit, check the map, use my signal scope. Okay, let me go in this direction. So my point being, I could have done that on accident.
Yeah.
And then my other theory is, so you go through one of the vines from Feldspar's camp and it takes you to outside of Dark Bramble. I think either that vine or a different vine I may have fallen into and popped out of the vine into Feldspar's camp. Because
yeah, I could see that.
I'm not certain, but I think there may be a shortcut from the surface to Feldspar's camp that I may have accidentally done.
Yeah, because there is another way to get back there besides through the fish.
Well, what's the other way?
I think there's a... Can't remember, because I know I've gone back there a few times, and I didn't think I went through the fish every single time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I must have done the other way. The first time I went there.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I had to look up the... I'm just going full spoiler mode here. I had to look up Quantum Moon because...
No! I'm sad.
No. Let me tell you why. Number one, I tried to land on it several times, and it's very stupid that when you go through the clouds, you can't see it anymore because you are looking at the clouds of that planet. And so because I tried that, and then there was another time where I tried a probe, but I guess I didn't have the probe right, or it was too small in the probe picture and it didn't work. I thought that wasn't how to do it. So then I looked it up and they were like, no, just do that. And I was like, so then I did it. And then the puzzle on the moon, I probably could have gotten that with about 2 hours of effort. But I was like, I don't feel like messing around with this because it's pretty.
What's the puzzle on the moon again?
You go in the shrine, and the shrine tells you where it is, and the surface of the moon changes based on which planet it's orbiting. So you have to you have to go through like 3 different planets to be able to move to the North Pole.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I looked that up because I probably would have figured that out eventually, but I was just like,
I think that Quantum Moon stuff is my favorite part of that game.
it's very cool, especially getting to, I think their name is Solanum. When I paused when I saw that. I was like, oh my god, they're alive. It blew my mind. I think that's pretty much it. So I'm right there. I think all I have left to do is the run where you... I mean, don't... See, OP says there is a shortcut. I was trying to remember what that shortcut is.
But I feel like it's a shortcut that you have to go there to then get. I think it's an obscure shortcut.
If I remember
Like
correctly,
with everything else in that game.
I got there from somewhere else. Like, I think I teleported to it. It was weird.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's a good game. I mean, I still think it's a great game. It's just some of the stuff towards the back half, and like you were saying, if you get information out of order, it becomes frustrating, and some of the puzzles don't become impossible, but they just become very frustrating.
Yeah, I think the game does do a good job. Like, if you can't figure out a puzzle, you can just go do something else.
Well,
I think it does that very well.
I would say yes, but I was down to the point where I basically had like 2 or 3 missing pieces of information. And they were all involved in puzzles that either required me to bang my head against the wall for a while or look it up.
Yeah, I think you just got to bang for a bit. Bang
Yeah.
and bang.
And I think the problem that I'm having with it is that the first like 80% of the game just flows, right? Because you're like information, and then you're figuring stuff out and you're like, oh, they went here, well, let me go there. And you're just constantly figuring things out that when you do have to bang your head against a wall, it's such a sharp change that it's frustrating. So I think it just needed a little bit more polish in that. But again, it's a fine line making a puzzle understandable versus like impossible versus too easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of that, so I think like because I just flew through that game, but I can see like if you miss something that taking a while.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's more about a lot of that information comes so easily that when suddenly you have to work for it, it became very frustrating.
Yeah. Also, I think I played the whole thing in 1 session. Might have been 2.
What? How long did it take you?
No. Whatever.
Like 8-10 hours?
8-10 hours, yeah.
Jesus.
I think I was unemployed at the time. When did it come out?
20.
I guess I could look up when I played it on the Xbox.
Isn't it 2020?
No, it was 2019.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Gotta paint these goobers. Yeah, so I'm still enjoying the game. I still think it's a great game. I think I may have gotten hyped up a little bit, and I think its weakness is in the end in wrapping everything up. Not in story mode, just in terms of that's when it's a bit jarring, the adjustment, and I think that's a shame. Everything else is so well done.
Ending of that game is real good too.
So I should be able to finish that today, because I thought I knew what to do, and then because again I don't want to waste time, I looked it up and it was just like, yeah, do that, and I was like, okay, all right, so now I know for sure what I need to do. So that's helping me like take a lot of the frustration out by like looking things up and it basically confirming, or trying to puzzle once or twice and then just looking it up and being like, okay, all right, that makes sense.
There is something I looked up. I can't remember what it was.
Meditate. I gotta be honest with you. Meditate's kind of stupid. It's almost pointless. Like
it's good if you just need to end. Like that's.
Yes, but there's so many ways to die in most places. Like you can just fall to your death. You can jump on spikes. You can jump in the fire. I think there was only one instance in which I really wanted to die. I didn't know meditate yet, and I just had to like waste all my fuel. But you can even do that and die within like a minute. So it's. I thought it was going to reset the timer wherever you currently are. So it's just kind of weird.
I feel there was a lot of stuff when I was trying to get all the achievements that it was super helpful with.
I can see that, yeah.
Except for the sun one, because you can just fly into the sun.
Yeah, so nothing against meditate. It's just that the way that you were talking about it and other people were talking about it, I thought it was gonna be revolutionary, and really it's just like a throwaway shortcut in a way. Like you don't really have to have it. That's more my understanding of it versus the fault of the game.
I'm trying to remember what I because I swear there's something I looked up.
Oh, you should search
I
your history.
distinctly remember it. I mean, that would have been a year ago. I delete my history every 2 weeks. So.
Why?
No, I'm joking. Because of all the porn, Ian.
You ever seen that Key and Peele sketch where like the wife sits down at the laptop and she's like, "It's weird," and he goes, "What?" And she goes, "All my browser history is gone." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "It's just not here. I was trying to look at a website I looked at yesterday, but it's the whole history's been deleted." And he just starts sweating bullets. And he's, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's because that ring gets hot. Because it's just insulated. Okay, it says I have 18 hours in the game, which doesn't help because that's everything. And I have 2 hidden achievements because of stupid thing.
Well, you could just go back and play it. I mean, I don't think any of it's going to require you to, like,
No,
get them in one run, right? Maybe one run each.
the one achievement is all the journal entries.
Oh.
I told that story. I had them all, and the achievement was glitched.
But wait. You should still have that save, because when I started it recently, it still had my save from when I played the game when it came out.
No, yes, I'm saying I would have to go get like 4 or 5 more. I had them all. They added more.
I mean,
And
yeah,
I changed the achievement.
I hear you. I'm just saying, in terms of most games, this one's probably pretty easy to finish out.
Oh yeah, I just don't feel like doing it. It's not worth it.
That's the right mentality. Because I know you've had problems
Okay,
with achievements in the past.
Started it on the 16th. And I finished it on the 21st.
So while you're looking
But
that
it
up,
looks like all the achievements I only got 1 achievement on the 16th, and then all the other ones were on the 21st. So I think I played it a little bit on the 16th and finished it on the 21st.
so while you're looking that up, OP says, "What's meditate? Sleeping at the campfire." So meditate, you learn from Gabbro. You have to go talk to him like 3 times, and then he says it. And basically, all it does is it's a way of immediately ending the loop and respawning, like starting it over again. And it's kind of cool. It's a menu option. So you hit start button, and now there's an option to like meditate, reset the loop.
I think that that thing shooting at the beginning of every loop is very cool.
Oh, that's okay. This is a minor quibble, but admittedly, the rest of the game is really, really good. I tracked that probe down, and there's not really anything with it.
Yeah, you can track it down.
I kind of wanted there to be something with it, even just a small thing.
Yeah,
but it's just nothing.
But I just like that it's like shooting in a different direction every single time. Like,
oh, it is?
Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure it's random. At least
I don't
changed it.
I don't think it is, because I think I always see it in the same part of the sky. Like they frame they frame it so that it shoots when you see it, and then when you're going up to the ship, it goes past the ship in the background. I want to say every single time.
I thought it shot a different direction.
The story says they shot it like 2.9 million times, something like that, in different directions. But I'm pretty sure you always see it going the same place, because like I said, they frame it so you see it. Which is another smart piece of game design. Did you find the developer satellite, the Voyager type thing?
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, great game overall. Some of the stuff irked me a bit.
Yeah, the cannon fires at the beginning of every cycle in a random direction. Because I remember I had to wait for it to shoot towards me to go and try to catch it.
OP says it sometimes it shoots at you when you wake up. I feel like I see the blue light always going the same way. Maybe I've just played so many loops that I've seen it go the same way.
I think that part is so cool because every time you wake up, that moment is happening.
Yeah. And
it's like
it took a couple, it's probably like the 10th or 11th loop before I realized it. And then I was like,
yeah,
I want to go see that, you know?
Yeah, the game's good. Okay, I keep not working on this. I gotta work on this arm.
That's a good kit.
Two.
That comes with the net gun, right?
Maybe.
I think that's the one. I think that's the one I built for Extra Life.
Yeah, I started this a long time ago. Oh no, that's not B2. That's why I can't find the piece. You stupid idiot.
Oh, music stopped.
No.
Let's go to hip hop. Let's go to funky music. Funky Cool Medina.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the Wild West of games to play since I finished Resident Evil 8. Sorry, it's not even called Resident Evil 8. It's called Resident Evil Village, which is weird. But I have been playing more Dragon Quest 8, so that's an 8 that is titled 8. I am enjoying that.
I need to start Mass Effect.
They killed Mass Effect.
I just I'm excited to try it, you know. To give it an honest effort. I mean, I've given it an honest effort before, but I've refreshed. I'm ready to try it again.
You're like me in Dune. Maybe now you'll like it.
Okay.
That fly swatter mod in 8 is very funny. To the point where people are asking, like, is that in the game? How do I get the fly swatter? It's very much not in the game.
There it is. Got little pistons on the leg.
Pistons.
Yeah, I'll show you. This is what they look like on the finished leg. That look good?
Whoa, that looks really cool. Are they plastic?
Yeah, they're all plastic.
Really? They look metally.
I've decided from now on when I buy kits, if it's reasonable and it's a good kit, I'm gonna buy the MG versus the HG.
Yeah. There are a couple real cheap MGs.
Yeah, I think I got this one for like $40, 35.
What was the one Maggie got for you?
Oh. Let me look it up real quick.
Is that an MG?
It is an MG. It's from a series that I haven't watched yet, so I gotta wait. I can't remember. I think it's like MG Strike Freedom Burst, something like that.
Whoa.
The honkers.
Yeah, I gotta find Diaper Boy AMG. And then I did discover the guy I made last time who looks like a space knight. There's another version of him, and then there's the Lancelot, who is like a fancy boy version with like a whatchamacallit, horse riding.
A horse?
Smash. No. Lance?
Yeah.
Like a jousting thing. Is that what it's called? A lance?
Yeah, use a lance in jousting.
Yeah. So that looks kind of cool. The problem is I wish Gundam Planet showed all of them, even if they were out of stock. Because they do that with some, but they don't do it with, obviously, everything.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see that. Okay, what am I making here? This is what I like to call the 140.
Oh, you know what I did do video game related?
What did you do?
Started reading Press Reset, the latest Jason Schreier book.
Nice. I don't know when my copy gets here.
I just kind of impulse bought it because I'm be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of his writing style. It's okay, it's just a bit too like journalistic clean. And he writes a bit towards an ignorant audience. You know what I mean? Where he's like, an MMO is, and it's like, okay. Not quite Webster's dictionary defines, but it's definitely like, it's okay, buddy. I'm here reading this book, you know?
I feel like that's an editor's thing. Not saying it's not him, but that sounds like a...
But
we need to make this appeal to everyone.
Yeah. But it's also like his style in general. I don't think it's weird. It's like formulaic, but also slightly opinionated in all of his writing. And it's like, I'm not crazy about that. But anyways, yeah, I'm just in the first chapter about Warren Spector, which is great to read because I know about Warren Spector, but I don't know a lot about him. Let me put it this way. I know of him and his contributions, but not really. Like, I didn't realize he did Epic Mickey.
Oh.
And a lot of this first chapter is about him doing Epic Mickey. So,
yeah, I ordered I love the first book.
Yeah, I think it's got great stories. It's great insider info.
I bought it at the Strand, and it wasn't until I got home I realized it was a signed copy. I was like, oh, cool. And so I went to order it this time, and the Strand was like, oh, do you want a signed copy? I was like, I don't really want to pay extra for a signed copy. You don't have to pay extra. So I just ordered it.
Oh, but now you probably got to wait for his like book tour or something.
Yeah, I think it was the other day, but I think they had pre-signed copies already. They haven't sent me a shipping notification, so I'm like, which is fine because I'm reading another book right now, but.
Yeah. So I went to the Strand. Strand it's mostly used books, right? Like that's how they advertise it, used books and then new books.
Yeah, it's mostly new books than used books.
The problem I had with the Strand was people were like, it's the best bookstore, and I went there and prices were high. I was like, wow. You know?
It's not the best bookstore, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, I've been using them less because they the owners of the Strand, the more recent owners, kind of suck butts. There was like a whole Strand union thing, and they just fired everyone and hired new people. And like they're not very well known to be nice people, but
yeah.
So I'll go there occasionally, but it's certainly not. I'm not as into it as I was when I first moved here. But yeah, they are expensive. I mean, it's hard to run a bookstore, but also their used stuff is pretty cheap.
Yeah. Well, but I even remember that not being that great. I'm just used to like there's a bookstore near me where it was a bunch of used books. You could actually take your used books to them and they would pay you. But they had used books where it was like $2-3 a paperback. Like it was just dirt cheap, and they were all in good condition. And I go to the Strand and they're like, well, this paperback retails for 15, but it's used, so we'll give it to you for 10. And it was just like, that's not right.
I think that's definitely just like New York City.
Yeah.
Like they got to make all that up rent wise.
Yeah, I think I was just very excited to go there, hearing the reputation from it. And then I walked in and I was just like, I mean, they got books. They
have a much bigger library than your local one, but you
Yes.
pay for that in the sense that you have to pay more money.
Yeah.
Yo.
So yeah, I just bought it from Amazon. I've been trying not to support Amazon, but I was like, I kind of want this tomorrow. So also, it doesn't feel as bad buying that from Amazon, because I'm like, if I buy it from Amazon, it's gonna get pushed up the bestsellers list on Amazon.
Yeah. I think Zach likes Powell's in.
I've heard. I think it's Portland.
Seattle or Portland. I think it is Portland. Zach likes that a lot. I've heard that's good.
I've heard good things about that.
There were really good, a couple niche bookstores. One of them closed by where I grew up. The other one's pretty good.
You ever heard of a Shakespeare and Company in Paris?
No.
You should look it up, Shakespeare and Company bookstore, because
I wonder,
it's in so many movies and TV shows, because it's like this famous English language bookstore in old Paris. It's really good.
There was an article, I forget who wrote it or what magazine published it, about like the most, like the coolest bookstores in the world, and or not coolest, but like the ones you should visit, and like the Strand was on it for New York. But then there was one in Philadelphia.
Oh, really?
Philly, that it said was really good, and I think it's the country's oldest bookstore. It's like a little farm. Actually, I don't think it's Philadelphia. I think it's just in Pennsylvania. It's like a farm barn that it's operated out of or something.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple of like in London, and there was
you know what?
that one in.
I may have been to that one. So there's one in. It's either Harrisburg. It's either Harrisburg or Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and it's like an old movie theater, like a single screen, very small movie theater, but they turned it into a bookstore. So there's like a balcony section, like the main where the seats were is now like a like they have a lot of seated areas. It was just a gorgeous little bookstore. But yeah, Shakespeare and Company has been in. It has like an iconic like medieval era front to it, and it's
that's cool.
And it's very tiny. Well, it's not that it's tiny. It has very narrow hallways and everything. I think it used to be a house, and it's just filled with like it's all English books, which is kind of rare to find an English language bookstore in Paris. And then it's all like philosophy, poetry books. So it has a very particular selection. It's not just like, here's the Grishams, here's the Crichtons, you know. Here's the How To for Dummies series. So,
Man, I had, speaking of Grisham and the Dummies, I've read the first two Jack Reacher books.
Yeah.
Those books are like pure book cocaine.
Yeah.
It's just
I think
like
you told
you're
me
just
that, yeah.
tearing through them. Like they're not like there's some well-written stuff and there's some eye-rolly stuff, but overall it's just like you're just tearing through it. You're like, wait, I gotta know what's happening next.
Have you seen that movie,
Like,
Jack Reacher?
No, I haven't. I know the first one's good and the second one's not so good.
I don't think I've seen the second one. The first one's very good because it's Christopher McQuarrie, who is basically the writer director of modern Mission Impossible, but he's done a lot of great stuff before, and it's just it's really well shot and edited and acted.
Yeah, I want to see it. It's based on like the 9th book, I think. So I was like, oh, I'll get up to that, and then I have the first 3 books that come in like a collection, and then I think after that you have to like buy each book individually, which I guess if you can get it. I figured I would wait till I go to a used bookstore and just get them super cheap.
You know, e-reader, very easy to pirate books.
Yeah, I can't read off a screen. And not that I can't read off a screen. I just don't enjoy reading off a screen. I can do it.
We've talked about this before, but I'm going to reiterate it. I had the same thing, and then I got a Kindle, and I think I may prefer it now because you don't have to turn the page. So like you can, like I like to, in bed, I'll lay on my side, and then I can just turn the page with the press of a thumb instead of having to like do this. You can read in the bathtub. When traveling, it's fantastic when traveling because I would have the book like I would have the Kindle in my jacket pocket. And so if I'm standing in a line, I would just pull it out and read it and then put it back in there. And some books are just way too big to do that with. Yeah. So I think I may prefer it to a real book nowadays, which is crazy for me to say, but I think it's true.
Yeah, I have trouble with like a lot of those screens and stuff with my eyes.
But see, that's the thing is that it's an e-ink screen. It's crazy how good it is. Like it gives you no eye strain at all.
No, I've used them. I'm saying using them is not as good. Not a fan.
I would you can get them so cheap nowadays, like $80, that I would just do it and then try it for a while because it was especially great for me in college where I just couldn't easily get books, to just be able to just grab any book online that I wanted to read.
Oh yeah. If
that's the other great thing.
There's a lot of like, yeah, if I had, it's the same thing. If I had a hard time being able to play, like buy new video games, there's a lot of things I would get, but.
And then there's even stuff like internet novels that are not published, you know, where you can find them as a Mobi. Like, have I told you about the Retribution series? I think it's called Retribution.
No.
All right, so here's the premise. Okay, you ready? This basically came from like a military history forum, and there was like a fan fiction section of it. And this guy people came up with like this weird premise, and he was like, I think he's an aeronautical engineer in real life, and he was like, I'm gonna write this premise like it's reality. The premise is that heaven and hell are real. And it basically starts with a message is telepathically sent to every human on the world simultaneously. And it says, and it's from God, and it's God saying, heaven and hell are real, but I am sick and tired of humans. I've actually been sending every human to hell for the last like 3,000 years. For the last 2,000 years, ever since you killed my son. And prepare your armies because I am now sending hell to take over Earth. And like it takes off from that viewpoint of just like everybody being like, what just happened? You know? And I don't want to spoil it because honestly, you should read it. It's incredible. It's really well done for fan fiction and it's like very realistic. But I'll get the level of realism, I'll give you a tease. At one point, they talk about how they basically go to the Bible to figure out the game plan of heaven and hell because they kind of telegraphed it in Genesis, not Genesis,
Revelations.
And so like they're like, well, it says in Revelations that they're gonna come through the Garden of Eden, and they're like, where's the Garden of Eden? And then it cuts to Iraq, and the US still has troops in Iraq at the time, and like a giant portal opens up and like these demons start coming out from hell, but the US military is already there because we're occupying Iraq. And then like they talk about how they like the portal opens up and then they like cut to a scene with the CIA, and they're like some interns just like, sir, I have an idea. And they're like, what do you want? And he goes, is the portal 2 ways? Let's send a drone in. And they send a drone through the portal and they start taking like imagery of hell and mapping it out. And then like, but the thing is there's so much ash in the air in hell that the drones only last like 30 minutes before the engine seize up. And it's like that level of like realistic detail for like a crazy supernatural premise, and it's incredible. You should absolutely read it. There's 2 books. There's supposed to be a 3rd one, but he published it on the forum. He was going to try and sell it as a book, but then he found out that somebody else had already stolen it and was trying to sell it, and he got so discouraged that he didn't write the 3rd book.
What the frick?
I cannot recommend it enough. It's incredible. Like, it has just a little bit of cheese, but it's also just like very interesting. Like, one of the things they talk about is how the demons are bigger, so the M16s don't really do much to them. So they end up pulling out all this World War II surplus that the US military still has, like 2 or 3 million M1 Garands, and they end up issuing that to their soldiers because the higher caliber round does more damage. Like, all this crazy detail that is very realistic. It's so good. You should absolutely read it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So that's the type of thing where it has not been published anywhere, and you would either have to read it off a screen or on an e-reader.
Or to print it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, just, God, I still have dreams about making a mini series around that topic because it's just so good. Like, there's so many good hits, like good shots where it's just like, eventually they build a highway going through the portal into hell, and they call it, guess what they call it, Will?
The highway to hell.
They call it, it's like LH01, but then somebody underneath it, like one soldier like underneath it spray paints highway to hell. And it's just like, hell yeah. Like, just imagine that's the end of the episode and highway to hell starts playing, and you see the sign and you see Humvees going through the portal, and you're just like, heck yeah. Doesn't that sound
that's
amazing?
The kind of stuff I love.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can get away with because, like, it's like in zombie shows where they don't call them zombies.
Yeah.
It's like everyone would be calling them zombies. And versus, like, if that was an actual TV show, and they couldn't get away with highway to hell.
Yeah.
Like, that's something a real human being we would obviously call it the highway to hell.
Exactly.
Like, any other published author would probably try to come up with something else coinable, but no one would call it that. It's like the Tappan Zee Bridge is still the Tappan Zee Bridge, even though it's not. That bridge has been destroyed, yet people still call it the Tappan Zee Bridge.
And it's and that is such a core premise to this series, is that it's all about, like, how would people actually react? How would society and governments and militaries actually deal with this crazy situation? And they would 100% call it highway to hell.
I like that.
I'll send you a link to the series. It's really, really good. And it's like you were saying, like, it's just such a quick read.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, what am I doing here?
I want to talk about it more, but I don't want to spoil bits of it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good things that happen that, like, I couldn't stop smiling while I was reading it. And it's pretty well written too. It only has a couple elements where you're like, this is too much. This is too fan fiction. This is too, like, tongue-in-cheek, too much fan service, but majority of it is not.
Where am I putting this?
But it's even like I'll give you another detail, was like I'll look it up, OP. I'll look up what it's called. Like, at the very beginning, after they do, like, the telepathic thing where they're like, we're invading, the militaries are just like, what comes next? And they check the Bible, like I said. And I think one of the parts was like, they're going by like old Earth rules. So before they start war, they have to send a formal declaration of war to the other party. And so they're like, maybe that's what happens next. And they wait a couple days, and then, like, over the Pacific Ocean, they spot, like, a big demon with like a scroll in its mouth that spawns in and starts flying towards the US. And they're like, scramble the jets, and they shoot it down with F-16s, because the demon doesn't think. It's like, old school rules, you're not going to attack me, I'm a diplomat, this is my formal declaration of war. But instead they just take it down with an F-16, and the devil's just like, what did they do? They broke the rules of war. And it's just like, it's so good. I'm gonna look it up. Revelations. No, that's not it. Found the Book of Revelations.
Oh, what's that? More fan fiction?
Okay.
No.
I think I found it.
God damn it. Just trying to trim this nub on here, and I just gouged into the plastic like an idiot.
So, The Salvation War is a web original trilogy that premiered in the beginning of 2008. And it answers a simple question: what if God announced that everyone's time was up and that Satan was coming to claim the bodies and souls of everyone on Earth?
Yes, a simple question.
Oh, here we go. Allegedly, due to the creation and spread of a torrent of the stories, the Salvation War is now radioactive as far as publishers are concerned. Without this incentive, the third part of the series, The Lords of War, was not going to be written.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Will. Oh, shit.
What?
Roller coaster of emotions over here. Okay. Oh, Jesus. What a gut punch. I'm gonna read this entire thing. Ready? So without this incentive, it appeared as though the third part of the series, The Lords of War, was not going to be written, although the author did publish some details in late 2014. By late 2019, the author changed his mind, with the third story being published one part at a time. The story cannot be monetized, but the author is writing it anyway. As of July 2020, the first 4 parts of The Lords of War, which is the third book, have been published, with the latest entry in March of 2021. The author passed away in December 2020, ending any hope of seeing the series finished. I literally went on a roller coaster of emotions where I was like, he's writing the third one. It's being released. And then he's dead. God.
But I bet there's some
people trying to carry the mantle.
But I wonder if he must have either A, an outline, or B, there must be at least one more part written than what's released, right?
I don't
He's
know.
Gotta have a pipeline.
Because it was literally a forum post. So he was just posting like a chapter at a time on the forum.
What the frick?
But I cannot recommend enough. One of the best novels I've ever read, just because of
if
how...
it's not going to be finished, I can't read it.
So the first one is Fighting Hell. The second one is Fighting Heaven. Although I don't think they beat Heaven. So the third one is... God, I can't believe this. I have to read this now.
You've read the first book's The Golden Compass.
No, I haven't.
Those books, those are good.
Those are good?
It's not exactly... it's not at all the same concept, but it's sort of similar with like everyone in the world has... You have your soul is outside of you, and it's a little animal.
Oh.
And like that's what you like. It's I don't know. It's like a whole thing. I can't remember what's only in the first book, so I'm not going to say anymore. But good series of books. If you'd like to read them.
It always looked too much like Narnia, and I was not a big Narnia fan. Narnia did not pay off at all for me.
It's a lot darker.
I'm okay with that.
And yeah.
Did you ever read Narnia?
No.
It's very like 50s sci-fi in the writing, you know what I mean? And it's also very Christian.
Yeah, I read
there's a lion, he's Jesus. You know.
What's the book he wrote? Mere Christianity. Wasn't that bad of a book, actually.
Yeah, he's kind of an apologist.
Something else he wrote that I read. Why can't I think of his name?
Was it the
C.S. Lewis?
There's the one that's like it's like 3 or 4 books about planets. Like there's mysterious planets all around the solar system.
Yeah, I heard those. Or I don't think I've read.
Maybe I'll go back to him, but I wasn't that impressed by him. Salvation War, though. God, what an incredible series.
I was looking up reading Sir Gawain and the Green Knight before that movie came out.
Can I ask you a question? I'm going to interrupt heavily here, but it's very highly related. Why are people excited about that movie? Like, I looked at the director. I guess the actor's okay. I just can't really tell why people are super excited about it. Because the trailers are just kind of like, they look good, but like I don't understand the hype around it. Not that I think it's going to be bad. I just don't.
I think A, it looks really good. B, I don't know if it's the DOP or the director that's very good. I can't remember. But also it's Annapurna, which a lot of people
they do good picks, yeah.
Because like that's the thing is like they're very art housey and everything, but they do make good movies. Like,
yeah.
So I think, and the concept of that movie is surreal and cool enough to be like, it is a weird story. I don't know if you know the premise of it, but it is. Yeah.
I mean,
so
I think I'm gonna blame Maggie on this one because she watches a lot of medieval content, and a lot of it just looks identical. And the Green Knight does look better than that, but it's also a majority of that same aesthetic. And so to me, it's just like, oh, it looks a lot like one of those mediocre medieval movies that Maggie would watch.
I guess, yeah. I thought it looked really good, and I like the aesthetic of like having the like halo crowns and everything was cool.
Yeah.
And I thought the design of the Green Knight was neat as well. But yeah, I was looking up because I want to read the original story, and there's a Tolkien translation, and then there's a newer translation. I'm trying to decide which one to go with.
I would go Tolkien.
That's what I said, because I think people said the Tolkien one's just all around good, and the new one's really good, but the new one, the guy kept the old English conversation. And so a lot of people said that's a little, like, not annoying, but you just have to go in knowing that. So
yeah.
I think I might just do the Tolkien one. But I want to know more of the story. I only know the general gist of it. But it's neat enough that I will eventually see that movie and not be surprised. I would be surprised if it wasn't good. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like just a good movie, and I would also be surprised if it's a extremely good movie.
Man, I had this moment the other day where like we were grocery shopping, and then Maggie was like, "Oh, I have to study tonight," and I was like, "What am I gonna do?" And then I was like, maybe I'll go see a movie.
No.
Like, and then literally the only thing that stopped me was like, oh, I don't want to wear a mask for that long, you know. But I was like, things are actually getting back to normal, and could see a movie. You know, because I wouldn't mind. I do want to see Nobody, and I wouldn't mind seeing that in theaters. The Bob Odenkirk John Wick movie.
Oh yeah, people said that was good, right?
Yeah, people said it's really good, and I like Odenkirk. But like I said, I don't want to sit there wearing a mask for that long.
Yeah.
Whew, making progress.
Why can't we make progress? Why can't we make progress?
How are things on your side?
Good. I'm doing the feet right now. I'm a feet guy.
I have the leg structure done. Interior. But I need to, right now I'm just trimming the body panels that are going to go on the outside.
Trimming the body panels, if you know what I mean.
Hey, do you got any Mass Effect tips? Like, not spoilers, but just like, hey, there's this currency, it doesn't matter. You know, things like that. Builds you would recommend? What are the different build types?
I don't know if they changed this, but what I remember in Mass Effect 1 is that whatever class you choose, you can't use the other guns from the other classes.
Oh.
But that they like implemented Mass Effect 2 stuff into Mass Effect 1 for this remaster, so that might be completely wrong. Okay. My big tip is just to talk to everyone, and after every mission, and this is for, I've never played 3, but at least 1 and 2, go and talk to everyone on the ship.
After the mission, talk to them.
Like after every mission, go check on everyone, see how they're doing. And also, I would don't think you always have to have everyone on every different mission. Like you can stick with your favorites. You can kind of work on them, and then just I would just have it auto level the other people. I think you can choose to not do that, but
for like their skills and stuff, just have it auto level.
But yeah, I would talk to everyone. Go check in on them, because that's the other thing with Mass Effect is the lore is so cool, and it's really framed really well, because since humanity is so new to everything, you're like everyone lives for so long that they have short memories, so it's like you just arrived still.
Gotcha.
Sort of thing. So. And yeah. Always hang out with Seth Green.
What's his name? Joker?
Joker. Yeah, it's good.
This song is funky.
Else. My recent memory of it is watching Vinny and Alex play it, so. That's, I still have to finish 3. I started watching through their 3 playthrough.
I was thinking about buying the remastered or legendary edition, as they're calling it, physical, in case you wanted to borrow it, but I really want to play it on both my consoles, so I can switch between them, bedroom versus living room.
No, I'm goody.
I did get it for 10% off, so I paid $54 for it, because it's that's the EA Play discount, and EA Play is part of Game Pass now.
Oh.
So
yeah, I have really no interest in playing those games again.
That's fair.
I own them all on PC. Yeah.
And you have them. I think you have all of them as EA Play.
Yeah. Strangely, I would like to try Andromeda. Like a weirdo.
Oof.
It's just like something about it. But I think if I were to dive into an RPG series from BioWare and EA, I think I would finally shoot my shot with Dragon Age.
Yeah, my friend Jean-Luc is a big fan of the first one, and then he says it really goes downhill from there. But I've also heard Inquisition is very different, but good in its own way, so...
Yeah, Chris said, I've tried one a couple times, but those couple times are me being drunk at night and like, oh, I should play Dragon Quest 1.
Yeah.
But Chris has told me that I think he said 1 is good, 2 isn't great, and then in Inquisition is good. So I wouldn't mind trying some of those, but yeah, I don't know what's next for me on the gaming sphere. I'm trying to figure that out. I did download some cool weird roguelikes that I think I was gonna
Didn't you borrow
jump into.
It may be time for Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
You have that still.
Well, yeah, again, because you had it for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very, very good.
I don't doubt it. How much longer are we gonna go?
I don't know, you want to go 10 minutes? What are you thinking?
No, it's just I gotta drop a deuce. So I'm wondering if I should leave and do it now or just wait until we end.
I don't know, you want to start the slow wrap up?
Folks. Hi. It's me.
Slower. Let me finish putting the leg together.
You put that leg together.
Let's
Here,
talk
I'll show
about
off what I've done.
Yeah, you show off.
I panel lined one arm like a boss. So there's that. I did 2 feet here. And another hand.
2 feet this time.
Bump, bump. Oh, I did pull these out because I was cleaning my drawer and I wanted to show you. But I have this switch, which is you open that and then flip it up. And the tip has a light on it as well. And then I have some of these like pressy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, Radio Shack, for going out of business.
I've been trying to think of what my next project is going to be, and I want to do something with gears, and it doesn't have to be electric. So I was thinking about making those little Tamiya paint holders. Sometimes you got to shake them before you paint with them. So I was thinking about making a little box where you literally like put the Tamiya paint tin in, you spin the handle a bunch, and it just literally like vibrates the sweet bejesus out of it on a bunch of gears.
I was looking at like automatons for a while, like not electrically powered ones. There's a good automaton section in Resident Evil 7 that writes loser on your arm.
Oh, really?
Which is terrifying. Yeah, automatons are cool. There's that guy who makes Lego ones that are really neat. He made like the Sisyphus one.
Yeah, but that's like $200 if you want to buy the parts.
Oh,
for it.
yeah.
That's crazy.
I wouldn't do that, but it's neat. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
gotta figure out what's next. I think I'm gonna try to finish Dragon Quest 8 and then probably jump into 11 on the Xbox.
oh, what's that? When did that Dragon Quest live stream already happen?
What Dragon Quest live stream?
Remember the 35th?
Oh no, that's the 26th.
26th is the 35th. Got it.
Yeah, 26th, 35th, and it's at 11:30 p.m. for us.
Oh yeah. But it's gonna be
I
in
was like-
English.
No, it's just surprising. It's crazy. It's the
No,
first
I
time
agree.
they've done it. So.
Because I do think the next time I want to do an RPG, well, I say this as I'm about to start Mass Effect, I'm finally gonna play Dragon Quest, and I'll probably do 11S.
Yeah.
Because 11S is on Game Pass, right?
Yes. 8 is really good.
I've heard that, yeah.
The easiest I think the easiest way for you to play it would probably be borrow my 3DS or do a 3DS emulator. The PS2 one looks good on emulator, like on PC, but the PS2 had random encounters like Pokemon versus the 3DS version. You see the enemies on the map and you can run around and avoid them.
Wait, 8 isn't on
like-
consoles?
It's
On
on
modern
PS2.
consoles?
No.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Because I've heard a lot of great things about it. I would have
It was
expected it.
remastered in 2016 for the 3DS.
That's crazy.
The only problem is it looks like a 3DS game.
Yeah.
But PC emulator, I think you would get away with it pretty well.
I probably won't play 8, though, just because of the difficulty. I'll just play 11S. Because 11S, or is it 8 that has the... Which one has the toggle where you can play the entire game in retro mode, but you can also
That's
play it with modern
11S.
graphics? Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah, I
like
want to
that.
try it. I started it a while ago and then stopped because we were going to do the Will's First JRPG, and I was like, oh, I'll just wait for Chrono Trigger, which that game has gotten a lot better and a lot more fun.
So speaking of Chrono Trigger Will's First JRPG, we should talk about what's coming up. Tuesday, you heard it here first. Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be playing more Roblox with friends. Our friends list is 6 deep now. Let's see if we can get even more.
Whoa.
It may be more. I haven't opened up Roblox. There were people who promised to be my friend, and they haven't sent a request or accepted mine yet.
Bastards.
Are you going to be doing another studio stream sometime this week? I think you did one last week, right?
Yeah, possibly. I'm starting a new temp job this week, so I got to work it out with Chris. I think we were going to try to start streaming weekends.
Okay.
Just so because he's doing temp stuff as well, so I'll figure that out. But I'll let everyone know. I'll tweet it and inform various discords. So yeah, we'll do more Chrono Trigger at some point.
Wednesday, it sounds like this past week, Kyle and Jimmy played some Star Citizen. They may play some more of that this Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Who knows? Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern is local chat. I am going to tease some stuff. June 1st is Stream Pilots Month. We have at least 4 Stream Pilots planned?
We have 3 confirmed.
3 confirmed. First one is on June 1st. We talked about it earlier. We are going to be launching a game show. It's called the Minigame Game Show, which is great. The only thing is I have to say minigame is one word in order to make the title work. The Minigame Game Show. But, sorry. It's going to be fantastic. So look out for that June 1st, and then every Tuesday thereafter, We're going to have a stream pilot all for the month of June. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Will, thanks for joining. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Hunt270.
That's fantastic. And you can find me on Twitter at Think Gibson. And you can find Subpixel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok at Subpixel Team. Sorry, I'm just getting these last details on. There's my leg, folks. Lots of good detail there. Fully weathered.
You have a hot leg.
Ready to go. And you can find us at subpixelfilms.com. That takes you right to our YouTube page where we have all sorts of fantastic edited content, as well as links to our stream archive channel, Subpixel Streams, as well as our shorts archive channel, Subpixel Shorts. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Will, thank you for joining us. Any closing words, thoughts, or actions or demands for the stream?
Go to anchor.fm/local chat and consider supporting the podcast.
Yeah, do what I do. I'm on the podcast, so I don't have to download it, but I subscribe and I download it anyways. Honestly, it helps us out. It gets the content in front of more people. And if you're watching our content, you know it's enjoyable. So help other people find it as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you all on the flippity flop. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.